Apple TV's Invasion might be one of the most frustrating sci-fi shows I've seen in years, and it's because it's almost great. It looks incredible, it sounds incredible, and it starts with genuine dread. But over time, it loses track of its own urgency. What begins as a grounded, slow burn just slowly burns out, which sucks. I'm Sage Patel, and I'm author of Tarek. I also love all things science fiction and fantasy, so you should check it out. And today we're talking about Invasion, an Apple TV series that I had a lot of promise for, which is still good, but it is lacking, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. A series that proves that production value can't always save a TV show from its plotting, its dialogue, and its pacing. It starts with a very ambitious premise, basically showing an alien attack from multiple perspectives around the world. A soldier in Afghanistan, a mother in Long Island, a bullied kid in London, and a Japanese communication specialist all experience this invasion very differently. It's an ambitious human-scale approach. No heroes, no clear answers, just confusion, fear, and chaos. That works beautifully in theory, especially in the first season. But in practice, the execution doesn't exactly match the vision eventually. Let's start with what Invasion gets right. First, the visuals. Season 1 looks especially expensive, authentic, atmospheric. The lighting, the camera work, the sound design, all of it feels scary. You feel small, you feel like there's something insane happening all over the world, and you're getting that sense of dread that you want out of an alien invasion that's supposed to be terrifying. Something incomprehensible is unfolding just outside the frame. The first season nails fear. It's not jump scares. It's that slow, kind of gradual panic that builds inside of you. Because no one really knows what's going on. Anisha and Mitsuki, two of the female characters that completely carry the emotional weight of the entire show. And that's true throughout the entire series. Both bring a sense of realism that could have made certain scenes feel very flat and unrealistic. When a show focuses on ordinary people captured into the chaos, that's what makes it compelling. You actually feel the terror in the first few episodes, and it's that first season that makes it earn the fact that you want to watch the show. But here are some of the lows. Invasion's biggest problem is its consistency. The pacing is collapsing under its own ambition. There are moments where you genuinely feel like this is a show that's going to be epic, and then it just falls short. Not because of some lack of planning, but it just doesn't really make sense. The storylines are so scattered that right when the momentum's building, it kind of just stays there. It doesn't really feel like it's getting to that final point. Characters kind of disappear for long stretches as well, and when they return, their importance feels diluted, and some of them are even completely written off by the third season. One of the first things that happened in the first season that told me that something was going to be off in terms of the general storytelling was the kids in the school bus from the first season. There's a moment, which isn't that much of a spoiler, that they literally free climb out of a crater, which just feels unbelievably unrealistic. It's the kind of sequence that completely breaks the grounded perspective of what you feel like from the beginning of the show. And there are moments like this sprinkled throughout the whole series. Scenes that look dramatic, but they don't really make any narrative sense. By seasons 2 and 3, that sense of fear that's been building this entire time completely fades. The stakes feel strangely lower as the story gets bigger, which you don't want that to happen. The global threat is definitely still there, the tension just doesn't land the same way. Characters who once felt crucial lose definition over time. You're never really quite sure who the show wants you to care about anymore. And for a series that's this expensive, the visuals, while still strong, already feel like they're aging fast. Some of Season 2 and Season 3's effects already don't look good on a second rewatch. And they'll date poorly in just a few years, which is a real shame considering the budget that Apple TV normally puts into their television shows. Take Foundation, for example. That is definitely not going to be the case, at least not for a little bit. From a writing standpoint, Invasion feels like two different shows. One that's kind of contemplating the idea of saving humanity, and one where it's trying to be this action-driven narrative that's saying that needs to get done, and there's, I don't know, this kind of confusion between the two. And the silence that happens in between those scenes and the dialogue between them just doesn't even feel real. The human focus is for sure admirable, but the storytelling just doesn't quite stick the landing. There's tension, but right now it's rarely paying off. It's clear that the writers wanted to prioritize emotional components and realism, but that restraint becomes repetitive without clear plotting. A scene could totally feel slow as long as the audience feels progress. Invasion sometimes confuses quietness with emotional depth, and they lose both for sure in the process. Here's the truth. Invasion is good, sometimes very good, but it's not great. It's beautiful to look at times. It's well acted, it's thematically interesting, but it's also meandering and even emotionally inconsistent. The first season hooks you with fear. The second, and now the third, definitely test your patience. And by the end of it, you're admiring more of the craft than you are the story. It's a solid watch for sci-fi fans who want something a little quieter and a little bit more atmospheric. Not to say there's not a lot of action. There is still a lot of action, but a lot of it's still contemplative. Just don't expect the kind of urgency that is sort of defined the best in the genre when it comes to alien invasions and First Contact. I'd call Invasion a satisfying show, not necessarily an essential one. It proves that sometimes less action can be more effective, but only if your story doesn't lose sight of its pulse. If you like grounded sci-fi that actually tells you what survival would look like, you should probably give this a try. Just lower your expectations a little. I'm Sage Patel, and I was your guide to the pitfalls and the promises of what Invasion on Apple TV has been. Until next time, keep watching, keep reading, and subscribe for more.